What's good, everybody? It's Coco Divine, and I'm in my car, and I want to have a little mini story time. So, my car is gray, and her name is Gracie, and I love this car because me and her have been through a lot of things together. So, I wanted to do a quick story time about the time when I was homeless and I was sleeping right back there in my back seat of Gracie. So I want to show you guys too. I do DoorDash from time to time. So no cap on that. I do DoorDash. I'm a hustler, so I always try to make money any way that I can. Like, yeah, I got my business. I work a job, full-time job. I do DoorDash. I do Instacart. In my business, I service clients whenever I get clients. So I do digital products. Like, there's a lot of different things that I have my hands in. So I was just out and about right now doing DoorDash, and the orders are slow. So I said, let me do a quick story time while I'm in the car, because I thought that was only appropriate. So back in 2021, right after the pandemic, I was sleeping in my car. How did I end up homeless? So it's kind of a long story. I'm going to try to do the short and condensed version. So right before the lockdown, or right before everything shut down in 2020, I was working. I was an accountant. I had a good job working in downtown Atlanta for a company. I didn't really like the job, but I needed it. You know what I'm saying? That was the only thing I had at the time. I ended up getting laid off right when in March of 2020, right when the pandemic happened. So I was kind of happy. I was very happy, actually, because like I said, I didn't like the job, for one, and for two, like, everybody in the office had gotten sick. Everybody that I worked with had gotten sick, and it was really bad. And at that time, we didn't know that it was COVID. We didn't know, we just thought it was a regular flu, like a really bad flu. But everybody in my office had caught COVID except me. And I was really, because I'm a germaphobe already. So I was already on hand sanitizer. I was already on Lysol. Like, I always kept my desk clean. I always sprayed and everything. So everybody was getting sick, and they were like, oh my God, I don't know what it was. So when they called me in the office and told me that I was laid off, I was like, effective immediately. I can go right now. So I've got my little bit of stuff, because I've been so traumatized from jobs and being let go and being comfortable somewhere and thinking that's where you're gonna retire, and then they're like, oh, we're doing some cutbacks, and we laying off your department, or we downsizing. I'm so used to it. And by that time, I had gotten to the point where I didn't have a lot of stuff like on my desk. Like, the only thing I had on my desk was a picture of my sons to remind me of why I was even there every day. And every day I bought my lunchbox and, my purse. That was it, because I was like, I'm never again going to have that big box of your shit from your desk, and you walking out with a whole big box and everybody looking at you and asking, oh God, what happened, or whatever. No. So that happened to me once, and I said, never again. I'm never going to be comfortable working in a job setting like that again. So I lost my job. I was able to get unemployment, and the unemployment was actually more than I was making. I guess it was supposed to be equivalent to what you was making, but my unemployment check was like $1,000 a week. So during this time, I was dating someone, and we had been dating for like a year, and he wanted me to move in with him, and I was a little skeptical because my lease wasn't up. I still had like 3 months left on my lease, and I was like, I don't want to break my lease, you know what I'm saying? In which I should have listened to my first intuition, because I ended up getting, that ended up coming up on my credit. Hold on. So I ended up moving in with him. He was renting a house, and long story short, things didn't work out in the relationship. So I ended up moving. I went to stay with my cousin, who also stayed in Atlanta at the time. So I stayed with her for a few months, but some things started transpiring. Things started going on. I don't know what it was, but the situation didn't work out. Me and her ended up getting into it, and she basically kicked me out of her house, knowing I had nowhere to go. So I ended up sleeping right back there. Sorry, my backseat is junky. I was sleeping right back there in the backseat of Gracie in Atlanta. I started doing DoorDash then. and I would just DoorDash all day, like from the crack of dawn until it got dark. And once it got dark, I would find somewhere and park my car and sleep in my car. I had a gym membership, so I would go to the gym, wash up, work out, and I would go to the laundromat, wash my clothes and stuff like that. I had a storage. I did get a storage unit to put like all the stuff that I did have from my apartment, my townhouse at the time. I put everything in storage, and I had like extra clothes, and I would go to the storage unit and, you know, switch out clothes like once a week or whatever. But it was a learning experience, and it opened my eyes to a lot of different things, because people, I look at homeless people differently now, because you never know how people end up in situations that they are in. It's not, you know, for you to judge and say, oh, everybody that's homeless, they on drugs or they alcoholics and that's why they homeless. No. I mean, yeah, there's some cases like that, but right now, especially with the economy, people are living in their cars because they can't afford the housing. People work full-time jobs. People work 2 and 3 jobs and still can't afford housing. You know what I'm saying? And all you need is one thing on your credit to mess you up to where you can't get a place to stay. And if you don't have anybody to support you or to help you or to co-sign for you, you gonna be homeless. I mean, so that was a learning experience for me, because when you don't have somewhere to go at night, when your body can't really fully rest because you can't stretch out. Like, look how small my back seat. Like, I was crunched up back then. I'm short. Like, but I would have a pillow, and I would have my pillow and blankets and things like that. I would put like towels up on the windows. Even though I got tent, but I didn't want people to like see me in here sleeping. Even though one time, and it was so embarrassing. One time the police did roll up on me while I was sleeping in the car, and they told me that I couldn't sleep. And actually, I was like behind. I was in a secluded area, so I was like behind a baseball field somewhere. It's like a game field, I don't know what it was, soccer or something. But I had pulled up behind this field because I was like, oh, there's nobody back here. And I was back there sleeping in my car and got woken up by the police. They basically told me I couldn't stay there or whatever. They were like, are you homeless? And they was looking at me like in disbelief. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. Like, it does not matter what you look like. It don't matter. Don't judge people by how they look. Don't just look at somebody and say, oh, she ain't never been through nothing. Oh, she look good, or she got a nice body, she got a big ass, and you know she can get anything she want from anybody. That's not always what you want. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't want to deal with the ramifications of what come with that kind of lifestyle. And that's how I've always been. I ain't never been the type, I've never been no gold digger, no money hungry woman. I never been like the type of female that just deal with a man for money. So yeah, there were plenty of places where I could have stayed. There's plenty of dudes that offered me to stay with them. And a couple of times I did go over to, some people, acquaintances' houses or whatever, to spend the night and sleep on their couch or whatever. But all of them tried me. So it was like, instead of me dealing with that or having to put myself in a situation that I didn't want to be in just because I needed somewhere to stay, I slept in my car. And I did it for months. And I did eventually end up going and living in a group home. I lived in a group home for probably like 6 months. It was just like a big house, and it had like everybody had their own room, but it was like only females could live there. So I stayed there, and I just collected as much unemployment as I could, and I did as much DoorDash as I could, and eventually I ended up getting another place. You know what I'm saying? I had to work with my credit and stuff like that, and it took a while, but I overcame that. So I just want to give you guys a quick little short snippet of how I became homeless and, that little story part of my life. So I hope somebody took something from that. All right, love you guys.